All right, everyone. Welcome to the Gundam Explained podcast. This is episode one, maybe? Or, the community comments. This is kind of an extension of that. I think the podcast, while I'd like to have guests eventually, and maybe I can coordinate that through Discord, which is in the comments or in the description. What I want to do with the Friday show is make it where it's a, podcast where I just talk about Gundam, kind of the latest news and go through the comments because there's some really cool discussion to be had. Let's get started right away. Actually, subscribe if you haven't. I'm at 199 subscribers at the time that I'm recording this. One more, I get 200, and I can give away the Mark II real grade Gundam. So, yeah, and then probably depending on how quickly the subscriber count increases, I'm thinking maybe every 200 I do a giveaway. And really, I'll do maybe a vote in the Discord. There's a giveaways channel where I maybe vote or get suggestions of what to give away, just to kind of make this a fun thing. But okay, for today's episode of the podcast, we're going to cover some news, and then it will get into maybe some things I've done recently about Gundam, and then move on into some comments, etc. So to start, I was really surprised. It was earlier this week. I was just perusing my YouTube subscriptions, and there's this channel I follow called 876 TV. I don't know what that is, but this is Bandai Namco. Anyway, the point of this was I was like, wow, Gundam Breaker Mobile. Okay, a new Gundam game that I might on mobile that I might enjoy getting into. And after I installed it, I realized it was just that Gunpla Warfare game, which, I kind of had fun at first playing it. Actually, when it first came out and I was playing it, I couldn't grasp it. Really, it's there's so much meta involved with grinding, unlocks, customization, which itself is actually cool. That the actual gameplay, which is what I'm about when I play games, is the gameplay mechanics. I realized there wasn't really too much to it, so I kind of moved on. I actually got back into it again recently, and I was having a little more fun doing some unlocks, kind of creating a cool a Gundam and upgrading it and then playing. But really, it wasn't giving me the satisfaction I needed. And after playing it, I guess I got to a certain point where I just stopped. Then I went on the Android App Store to install this, and then I realized it was really just the Gunpla Warfare game, which I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something. If anyone has any suggestions on how to really get into the game, leave comments below, because I don't know. It's really cool. Also, I noticed it drained my battery. Just having it installed on my device, I noticed my battery going down a lot quicker, but I'm down for a cool Gundam mobile game. I did see there was someone I'm following on Instagram. It's a Gundam that has a really cool YouTube channel of just super high quality Gunpla builds. But I think he was showing some gameplay of a game that it's not vertical in the way we see kind of in this picture, but it's horizontal, and the gameplay looked like the Versus Extreme games. I haven't seen much else about it, and it looked like there was some workarounds you had to do to get it installed on your device. I haven't really looked into it much, but if anyone's actually playing that, let me know in the comments, or for anyone else in the comments, so that if there's an easy way for Westerners to actually be able to install and start using the game, maybe side loading it, etc. That would be good to give it a shot. I would love to have something on my mobile device Gundam related that I can kind of get into, and that's the thing. So, I don't usually spend my time playing mobile games. I'm playing console or PC games if I'm gaming. Anytime I'm playing a mobile game, it's when I'm in a situation that I have my mobile handy and maybe I have a few minutes to do something, and I just kind of pull it out and do whatever. And the thing about the Gunpla Warfare is there's so much meta involved to the game itself that I could launch it, and I'm really just then spending my time organizing my parts or upgrading them, that by the time I want to go play a match, I'm already moving on to whatever I'm doing in my life. Or if I jump in and then go do a match, then I need to remember the next time I get in, okay, what have I upgraded? What do I need to unlock? I don't know. It doesn't really lend itself to be a quick play game. It lends itself to be a microtransaction game, right? And if I'm wrong, just let me know in the comments. Anyway, I just wanted to bring that up because yeah, that was quite the trick to pull over on me. All right, so to move on, now this is something. This is the type of news I like. So, Robot Spirits line of figures is I love. I have so many of them. First I was building the Gunpla, and I liked that, but then I moved on to the Robot Spirits because of the build quality and the articulation and the accessories, getting effect parts. It's the perfect thing for a Gundam collector. And there's so many Robot Spirits Gundams I would like to have. Thinking back, like there's a lot from Zeta and Double Zeta. Now, there's actually the release of the Metal Verka Zeta in June. I've already paid for it. I'm just waiting for it to ship. I have the Double Zeta that was from Premium Band. I love that, but I want the side character, the other mobile suits. I want more villain. I want a Briarlant, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. There's a lot of cool mobile suits from Zeta I'd like them to make into Robot Spirits, but I gotta say, at least this is awesome. So this is what they're calling Side MS, RX-79G for ground, Land Battle. I've never seen Land Battle used. I've seen Ground Battle, or Ground Type, I don't know. Gundam Ver Anime. So it's a Ver Anime, so they're making the proportions, the color, they're basing it off of the anime from, excuse me, and this is from the 8th MS team, Mobile Suit Gundam, 8th MS Squadron, depicting frontline soldiers has started. The flagship aircraft of the 8th Squadron, which survived the harsh Southeast Asian front, is now available at Ver Anime. So I think this is actually a translation, so some of the wording could be incorrect, like using land, although I think ground is what is typically used in English. But anyway, let's look at this thing. I mean, I have the high grade of this, and then I also have not the Gundam version, but I think it's just the GM version, ground type, of the Universal or Gundam Universe line of figures. Anyway, just look at this. Effect parts, I guess nothing too crazy. This is stuff that you'd probably see with the Stardust Memory ones, but just having this design, it has the backpack that has the gear on it. I guess showing off how awesome the toe articulation is. Effect part for the gun, is that included actually? Let's see. Or is it one of those things where it's, actually, I'll get to that here in a second. Yeah, sold separately, and I'll get to that. Look at the backpack where you can store the weapons. I bought the high grade version of this, built it. It actually looks amazing. It's just that it could use some custom paint if on the high grade. And that's just an extra step I didn't want to have to deal with. So being able to get this as a Robot Spirits action figure is quite awesome. So here's some more pictures of it. Now, the one thing I haven't even tried looking for is if I can actually pre-order it right now. I think this was just like, for now, a Japanese release. And so either we're going to see it on, let's see, general over-the-counter sale, released December 2021. So, okay, so here's the difference here. The Perfect Zeong is something I need to order here shortly, like very soon, and it's showing Tamashi Web Shop. Whereas, yeah, as a Westerner, there's so many places I can actually pre-order this right now. When it comes to the Perfect Zeong, but to get this RX-79G, yeah, I don't know if we're gonna see maybe an announcement soon that it will be on Premium Bandai, or if we're going to start seeing retailers like Big Bad Toy Store, I tend to order Gundams from, or what are some other? There's Unite Media. There's a bunch of other retailers I'll use. I kind of look for the best prices on things. But the other part to this is, which I love. This is another thing I love about the Robot Spirits line, is the effect parts. So there's going to be something sold separately, which again is the effect parts. So not only is it this kind of sand dust kind of trail going on, but also blaster effects. Yeah, so we're seeing that right here. Let me see if I can zoom in to that a little bit. showing some missiles launching, and it looks like this is an extra. This kind of looks like what's in the Earth Federation Force pack that you can buy that kind of has some extra weaponry. I put it on one of my GMs. Maybe I should do a video on that. And it has like a little a ground section to just stick in the shield. Pretty cool. Kind of just a one trick pony, but still wouldn't mind getting that. But yeah, these effect parts are amazing. I mean, that's one of the coolest things about the Alex. There's two robot spirits versions of the Alex. One has like the battle damage when it has the battle with the Zaku at the end. But then there is the version I have that comes with the Choban armor that comes with then all those effect pieces. And I didn't actually show that on the review. I need to do that. But yeah, all the effect parts you would want are here. Wow, look at that. Yeah, I love this. This is exactly. Okay, what is this showing? Wait, that has been decided to be released or attached. Okay, so this is new to me. Maybe I didn't realize this. So there's a Zaku that is based on maybe 08 MS team that is going to be released here shortly. Hey, that's great. The more the merrier. All right, so that's really cool news, actually. But okay, so that's it with the news on some of the few things that popped up this week. But yeah, let's kind of get into the community comments again. Let's see. I've got that giveaway going on. I'm at 199 subscribers. Really, by the time this posts, I might be at 200. So then either over the weekend or the beginning of next week, I'll have the giveaway announcement, which I'm excited about because I can't really wait to then choose what the next item is I give away. But yeah, let's kind of go through comments. So here's one from someone using, characters in a language I'm not familiar with, but they said good. Yeah, I like that. All right, so this is pretty cool. This is from Badonkadonk Coochie Crunch. That's a cool name. Unless I happen to already read this, I don't think so, because I would have recognized that name. So this had to do with my Hathaway review. And, another thing I want to keep in mind is I think I'm going to be wrong a lot when I make my videos, when I'm doing discussions about maybe some parts of Gundam. UC is so deep and has so much depth. I think it's going to be common for me to make my mistakes. But here we go. That wasn't Australia yet. They were still in Davao by the time the final battle, someplace called Nejen or some shit, was over. They were on the way to Australia. Let's see. Davao City's in the Philippines. You from the Philippines, brah? I live in Davao City. That market scene, the Jollibee restaurant, is almost a very close depiction of the real location. Yep, I do live in Philippines, but not in Davao, and that's from Jugs Judy Live. Cool name. Cool, me too. Man, that's awesome. So did we just did I just unite to oh, and I live, so that's the Tamagomaki. So cool. Huh, so does that mean there's 3 people here on my channel commenting that live in the Philippines? It makes me just want to travel over there and have a little meetup. How awesome is that? Okay. So from Demister 1, of course, Mobile Suit Gundam Depression. I guess that is referring. I'll give some love, even though I don't like to dwell on the depression. But I guess that's in reference to Tamino in his time working on the Gundam UC timeline in his depression. I don't want to get too much into it, but a lot of times when we talk about Gundam or Zeta Gundam or Victory, anything you see that Tomino worked on, people just want to reference his depression. And depression's a real thing, and it is serious. Luckily in his case that he had support systems that he was able to utilize in order to help him overcome that depression. There's a lot of cases in life where people that they don't have the clout from working in media, creating TV shows or movies, or have the resources to actually get help for depression. So, as much as maybe depression kind of was a driver in some aspects for Tamino, I would also say, luckily he had the support he needed for that. So All right, so B Bear Gaming. I love Gundam Hathaway so much. I can't wait for the sequel. The animation and story are beautiful. Yeah, exactly. That is exactly on point. Oh, Steve's Collectibles. This is a common contributor to the comments. This is a great game in reference to Battle Operation 2. All right. Keith Miller. This was on my Gundam Hathaway review. So okay, here's something I need to clear up. She Gundam, but there is a comment made about how to pronounce it, like Kasai, Kasu, or something like that. Yeah, and they're talking about it right here. I might have already covered this from Eduardo Ribeiro. You're not wrong. I mean, let me go back. Hybrid ATP 64. I think around UC 0090 new Anaheim suits, especially Federation suits, were designed by Greek letters. You're not wrong. That letter comes after V in the Greek alphabet, but in the novels, it is explained that Hathaway saw a resemblance between KSI, who comes from Kasu, the name of Kasu Pariah in Japanese, a tribute by Tamino. Okay, I remember reading this. So I guess that that I thought it was pronounced that way. It's the X side. It's really like Kasai or Kasu or something like that, and it's supposed to be similar to Quest, maybe to the name Kasu Pariah. I guess that is to make it. I guess to kind of trigger Hathaway. I guess that's what that's from. But thanks Keith Miller. I'm glad you brought that up. No doubt the Star Wars okay, so Gundam F91 soundtrack, a video I posted where I was showing the F91 music, and how it's very similar to Star Wars music, and I love it. I don't care if there's there's a lot of things I make as a creator where I'm actually then even relying on things that I like in order to kind of work off that. And so I think a Mobile Suit Gundam movie having Star Wars sounding music is just badass. Okay. So Keith Miller, no doubt that the Star Wars influence was big on the original Gundam series and continued to be even down to the music on several series. Does make you wonder if they really changed enough to dodge copyright issues. Apparently so. It's very interesting, because I want to have music on some of my videos here. And I do very easily get notices that, hey, there's been a match for this piece of music or this video. And it gives me the option to where then it's partially blocked in some territories or some of them I just won't get monetized. Right now, I'm not monetizing. I don't have enough, followers or hours. So it's not a big deal to me. But it's something I need to keep in mind in the future. But music from Stardust Memory doesn't seem to trigger that, which is good to know. I like some of the music in that, and I want to kind of play around and make videos using Gundam music. And I guess if I just don't want to get any copyright strikes, but I don't mind if I want to utilize something. It just means I'm not going to get monetized. That's fine with me. All right. Top 5 Gundam pilots. So Special K, shout out to Special K. Awesome commenter in the Discord. Again, Discord link in the description. Mashimir, where have you taken Adam? Ha ha ha. In all seriousness, I've recently discovered your channel and I'm really enjoying your content. It's great to get your take on Gundam's on the Gundam series and Gunpla models. I've been a fan of Gundam for a while, but haven't seriously gone through the older UC shows. However, I'm watching them right now, and I'm currently halfway through ZZ, or Double Zeta. I don't have a top 5 list of pilots, but Camille Amaro and Benager would likely make the list. Keep up the great work, Adam. Looking forward to watching more of your videos. Thank you, Special K. Yeah, good point. If any of you join the Discord, Special K has already posted some amazing commentary and questions about Double Zeta. He recently finished it. He or she, sorry. And I think it's worth looking through and maybe replying on. I want to take a deeper dive into Double Zeta here shortly and use some of Special K's commentary to explore that, and we can talk about it. All right. Here's from Not a Simp. My personal dream Gundam game would be an original Gundam universe made by Kojima Productions. It would be really damn good. So that is very interesting. I'm not a huge fan of Kojima's games, and it's really not because It's mainly because of the gameplay. I think Kojima focuses more on story and experience. But if Kojima was to make a Gundam game, I would be on top of that 100% because that is his MO. He's able to really integrate a narrative that speaks beyond the gameplay experience. So yeah, that's a very good call out there. All right, Meme Souls. So Meme Souls, and if I'm not mistaken, is that the Dark Souls characters? I'm a huge Dark Souls fan. So, okay, a Kojima Gundam game. What about a um oh, I forgot his name. It's the same name as the animator, the guy that makes like creator of Dark Souls. I'm going to get blasted for this, but yeah, Miyazaki. Okay, I'm a huge fan of the Souls games. If Miyazaki made a Gundam game. I don't know how that would work. And that that reminds me of something because think about most Gundam games are about being in a Gundam. I could see a Miyazaki game being where you are maybe some pilot or just a soldier and you're having to get through the being in the war, having to maybe get to your Gundam, and then that maybe the boss battles are kind of framed in that way. I don't know. That's just so much to think about. But anyway, to go to Meme Soul's comment, to those people who might find all this lore dump really confusing, it's actually quite easy to get into. My first time watching Gundam, I started off just watching the first Mobile Suit Gundam movie, which is the 2-hour-long compilation version of the original Mobile Suit Gundam series divided into 3 parts by 3 distinct movies. I didn't go through and watch the last 2 movies and went straight to Char's Counterattack. After I finished that, I began to watch the Unicorn Gundam series. So yeah, really confusing watch order, but the point I'm trying to make is even though I had probably the worst way at watching the Mobile Suit shows, is that I still was able to watch them all and have a good understanding of the lore and what was going on throughout. Yes, I've gone back and watched the shows in chronological order, so don't worry. No, that's cool. I think that's kind of the same thing with me, and we might get to those comments later if there's time, but I did have a video up of me going through the first episode of Gundam Unicorn. When I first got into Gundam in 2019, it was because I bought a real grade Unicorn that I just found at GameStop. I was like, you know what would be a cool activity? How about build a model kit? I've always liked mechs, okay? I've always been into robots that people can get into and pilot. I just never got into Gundam because it didn't have that Western appeal. But, well, in terms of how it was marketed. But yeah, once I got that real grade and built it, I then went to go, I was like, okay, I'm going to watch Gundam. I watched Unicorn and I was like, what's going on? Yeah, watch that video. I kind of go into details on that. But yeah, let me get into some of the comments of that. So this is Ryu Saki. Hopefully I'm saying that correctly. I just watched the compilation films. Then after that, I watched Char's Counterattack. Before I watched Hathaway Flash, I decided to watch Zeta, which I'm on episode 37 now. So yeah, going in order is pretty good. Actually, let me add some here. What you thought about Zeta. Because even though I could tell you every day one show is my favorite over the other, I think Zeta is my favorite. I think it is. I mean, the music is just in my head at all times. All right. All right, so this is another comment from the Hathaway review from Elios. Is that Quad Zero? Okay. Not fan of the revised naming of AU. It made it a lot more sense as Anti-Earth United Government. Okay. Gavin Linko. I just finished watching Gundam Hathaway, and I wasn't sure why there isn't romance in action because it's my first time watching this movie, and it's all right, I guess. I'm just certain of who was the villain and what is Gigi up to. You know, good points. I think this kind of lends to this narrative about you need to be familiar with the original Gundam to really understand the newer shows. But you're right. Like, what is Gigi up to? My only thought is that from what I am gathering that happens in the Gundam universe is that new types tend to eventually, through destiny or the fact that they're new types, kind of meet and join. I think that's all that's really happening here is Gigi's a new type, Hathaway's a new type, and so they just eventually meet and join. It's like how gravity works. Or if you want to talk about, physics on a fundamental level, you have two objects in a vacuum, and they are going to eventually meet due to gravity, due to how that all works. And I think that's the idea with new types is they eventually meet, like Char meeting Lala Soon, then Amuro meeting her after, and then when there's that big battle at the end of Mobile Suit Gundam, Lala's like, I wish I met you first. Well, not that she wished. She's like, I didn't know you before Amuro, and this is when she had to battle him. And I think that is a neat underlying current they don't really talk about. Well, they do talk about, but it's not out in front. Like when I'm watching Gundam Unicorn, the coincidences of Minerva and Benager meeting, I think it's that new types when they're in the vicinity and their emotions are building, they can sense each other and they kind of attract. And as for the villain, that's what I like about Hathaway is who really is the villain, and then Unicorn, who really is the villain. That's a good thing about Gundam UC is there's not always a clear villain. Even if there is a villain, you can see that whoever is apparently the hero is not necessarily as much of a hero as you think. We got She Gundam or Kasu Gundam. I wish if someone could just tell me how to say it. Just once, a recording, and then I could play it back. But Sig Zeon, of course. I don't know if you guys have seen, there's an animation in my videos when I asked to subscribe, and instead of the button saying subscribe, it says Sig Zeon. I thought that would be pretty funny. All right, David Wong, Gundam Explained doesn't know Gundam. Three novels, 3 movies. The mechs are a pinnacle of MS design before they got downscaled, thanks to these events and improvement in technology. Yeah, I'm going to admit, I don't know all of Gundam. There's so much to explore, and that's kind of why I made this channel. It kind of motivates me to, as I personally explore Gundam, I wanted to then share that and then talk about it, and an easier way to reach out to the community. To continue to talk about Gundam. All right. So, from Barry Verswell, great summary. Keep up the good work. Glad to be subscriber 91, F91. Explaining Gundam is no small feat. I've been trying and failing for over 15 years. Yeah. It's one of those things. I think sometimes, like, if it's my brothers or anyone else, I try to explain to them why I like Gundam, and you just have to experience it to really get it. All right. Okay. So, I might have already read this one, but she pronounces Kasai or Kazai. Okay. So Kasai. So if I'm seeing this XI, Kazai. Overall, great video. It was a good film, and I can't wait for part 2 next year. The scenes in the city with the battle unfolding around them as they run were exceptional. It really shows how in Gundam universe there are no true bad guys. That's exactly what I was just talking about, too. So this guy gets it. Good job, Santo Bell. Londo Bell, Santo Bell. I see what you did there. All sides of the story have compelling characters and ideas. War is complicated, and very few shows or films get across to the audience like Gundam UC. That is exactly right. Jonas Cabrera, they are in Davao, which is in Pacific, also Philippines. Thank you for that. I honestly, I love being corrected, so feel free for everyone to correct me. The Night Air Raid still happens in Davao, Philippines, not in Sydney, Australia. They don't even leave Philippines until the Kasai is launched into low orbit, which is over Malaysia, Indonesia. See, I think. Cool. I love those details. Thank you, Jim Manahan. Yeah. All right. So here's a comment that had to do with G Savior. I honestly got to say I like it. People talk bad about it, but the more I think about G Savior, I miss it and want to watch it again. I did buy the DVD. So Santo Bell, Court of Public Opinion has this painted as a bad movie, and one Bandai wants to forget. For its time, it wasn't bad. Made for TV, released for the 20th anniversary of Gundam in a short period of time with a really small budget. It did what it could with what it had. The concept, story, and MS are all great with clear F91 era inspiration. Yeah, I definitely see that, especially when it comes to the technology used for the mobile suits. It just suffered from made before its time syndrome. Exactly. The G Savior, from a design point, was meant to be a modular suit. The novels and game expanded on this fact, having various configurations, armor and weapons, eventually upgrading the suit to the G3 Savior. Cool. So there's a link here to kind of jump more into that. And actually, let me just do that real quick. And there's nothing here. Very interesting, isn't it? But I do know that that page does actually show the G Savior, and from what Santo Bell is talking about, even in the movie, you see it when it goes from the space battle to ground combat in the colony. It kind of changes the armor on it, the modular system he's talking about. The Gunpla kit makes this very obvious, like the narrative Gundam. It feels incomplete while remaining an extremely unique MS design. Rear flight pack, for example, which is a cross between the F91 and the Minovsky flight unit. Yeah. The MS has had a cameo in the Build Fighter series, not lasting long, but looking great while fighting. It's not totally forgotten. I would love to see a reimagining of this story someday. One of my favorite Gunpla kits, though it's showing its age now and needs modding if you're after better posing, if you can find one at all. They are on seemingly perpetual backorder status. So good point. I actually looked up to buy the kit, and it's about 70 plus, which, on one hand, that's not bad. On the other hand, it's like, okay, I'll get to it eventually. But I would like to have the kit. I really like the design of it. Not gonna lie. Okay, so another comment from the Gundam Hathaway review and impressions from Arthur Wu. I'm still on the fence about this movie since it seems to be the first of its kind in the Gundam world. I've only watched UC in my adult life, so this is an assumption. What I mean is that it's not just a standalone movie. It's the first of three, which kind of makes it that OVA feel. But OVA episodes aren't ever over an hour long usually. As a standalone film, I disliked it. But as a one of three film series, the jury's still out on that one, since I'll need to watch the other two to really be able to judge this one. As a measure of comparison, my favorite UC Gundam movie is F91. Nice. Which I know a lot of people don't like. It has the 90s anime glory and villain who kind of gives off Darth Vader vibes. Of course, gives off Darth Vader vibes, and like that video I have of F91 in the music being like Star Wars totally fits. So I didn't know that some people didn't like F91. I love it. There are some things about it that I could go without, but as a whole, I really do like it. And I kind of see what you mean. I've only watched You See My Adult Life, so this is an assumption. Yeah, so with this Hathaway movie, I can kind of understand if you're not familiar with a lot of Gundam and then you're watching this and it's like, okay, what was that about? There's a lot of anticipation to see part 2 and 3. That could really change my overall opinion, actually, on the first one. All right, so this is from Japanese Characters Rito. Loved how you give your own way about the movie review. I wanted to see where this channel go down the road, so you gained a sub. That is awesome. I love comments like that. Thank you very much. Be sure to join the Discord. We can talk more. All right, here's from Minori Yumura. Just watched the movie in theater in Japan. Oh, lucky. And immediately went on YouTube to hear people's opinions. I wanted to hear some reviews from non-Japanese audience as well, and I came across your video. I enjoyed your review, and I had similar opinions as yours. When you were talking about the airplane scene where Hathaway decides to take down the terrorists, I don't think there was any Japanese culture-specific expressions, but new type thing, like you mentioned, other people might think differently, but at least to me, this movie doesn't have anything specific to Japanese culture. Just wanted to share. Anyways, thanks for the great review, and I'm so jealous that you guys can watch it on Netflix already. I'm so tempted to pay another 1,900 yen to watch again, but with 40x, I would totally pay to watch it in 40x. That is awesome. I guess over in Japan, I guess the you can't really watch it and stream it at home on Netflix, but If I had a chance to watch it in the theater in 40x, oh man, that would be great. Ah. All right. So, here is where it came to the subscriber giveaway, which I'm hoping I can announce that here soon because I'm really at 199. But Steve Collectibles, best of luck. Mighty Leg, Count Me In, Universe, Mild Sauce, Enter Me Please. Zeta was fun. Oh, yeah, Zeta was good. Not a simp, good luck, and hope we get to 200 soon. And oh, yeah, we are. All right. So, comparing every RX-78 I own. All right. If you're a fan of the RG stylings, and this is from Casino 21 gigabytes, I'm assuming. If you're a fan of the RG styling, the MG 3.0, which I don't have, takes a lot of cues from that, and I think most closely represents the 1-1 Gundam statue that had a few years back before they replaced it with the Unicorn Gundam. I'd love to go to Japan to see that. The MG 2.0 G3 is a great kit recolor of the MG 2.0 that you showcased. The MG Gundam 1-Year War version with the slightly warmer colors is a good one too if you're interested in a more robotic master grade that still feels like an RX-78 too. I've never gotten into the figures as I personally get more out of the process of putting them together and discovering how each kit is engineered. That is a very good point because there are some Robot Spirits figures I've gotten recently that I don't have model kits for. And when I build the kit, I can get a better sense and feeling and maybe a connection to the aesthetics of that mobile suit. And I think, I think eventually it would be worth it if it's not a high grade and master grade, but to build each kit that I have as a Robot Spirits version. And hopefully I can get back to where I was on that. I've never gotten into the figures. Also, I tend to pair my RX-78 2 kits with Char's Zaku 2 counterparts. If you're a fan of Amuro, I recommend the RG RX-93 New Gundam, which I have. I love it. It does not disappoint. Fun video to watch. Well, thank you. I really appreciate that. And you know what? I do want to make a video where maybe I just cover every mobile suit I have that Amuro pilots, because I do have the DJ high grade, and I'd love to have a Robot Spirits. There's a Verkov version, but it's like super pricey. Maybe one day. Here we go. Noah Knight. I like the movie quite a bit. Glad it pulled away from the whole new type magic power stuff. Gundam narrative was a bit much. Here it was cool to see two humans battling in Gundam and funnels not flying all over the place. So very good points. The new type thing can kind of be a little too much. In the case of narrative, it was. Although now that I've gone back and watched everything you see, and now I'm watching Unicorn again, and I'm enjoying it a lot more. I'm thinking if I was to watch narrative again, I'd like it more. But also, I think it is possible in Hathaway where you're seeing a lot of new type things happening, but it's not spelled out specifically. Like the plane scene when Gigi was kind of somehow communicating to Hathaway about taking out that person, or just overall how Gigi's connection with Hathaway was. Now, and then you can move on forward to when there was the fight between the Penelope and the Kasai Gundam, if I'm saying that right, please correct me, where Hathaway, he had the one battle in the second Neo Zeon War with when he was trying to go out there and rescue Quest, but I think his ability to be able to pilot and move around is him being a new type. So him fighting, what's that guy's name that was piloting the Kasai Gundam? Anyway, there has to be some new type abilities in play for him to do that, or maybe he's had enough training since what was that, 93 0093 Char's counterattack. I don't know, but that's a good comment. Thanks, Noah. All right, Santo Bell back again. The 3.0 was the first master grade that I built. Not my first 1/100, but the first in the graded system. It's rock solid, looks great, and came with plenty of accessories. The MSA 0011 EXS, so that might be the Sentinel version, and the MSA, either that's referring to a line or that's just the, let's see. Yeah, okay, so I guess I haven't got much into Sentinel. I believe that's what this is referring to. But yeah, the MSA 0011 EXS is by far my favorite MG kit so far, followed closely by the Sinaji Stein Verka version Katoki. Both kits will take over your shelf, so be aware. I just finished the Real Grade New. Great build. Looks good, but I lucked out and got a loose joint version. Excuse me. It doesn't like to stand, and I always find it faces down or back on the shelf. A display stand is a must. Yeah, I have my new Gundam on a display. Hey, and Santo Bell or anyone else, if you have, and maybe I need to make a channel for it, but you can put it in general for now. But I think it'd be cool if people took pics of their model kits and posted them. I'd like to see what people can do when they build them. All right, so here's Clint Roy Mukurakade. Road to 200. Here we go. Hope we go through AU timelines and everything too. So let me AU timeline Gundam. Let me just quickly see what this is referring to. Unless it just means alternate universe. Yeah, I'm actually going to be jumping in a lot more. I think Seed, people can give me suggestions, but it seems like Gundam Seed is like the next legit popular Gundam. I could be wrong. I know Wing is popular, but that has to do with nostalgia. I know when I was younger, what Cartoon Network, Adult Swim was showing Wing. I saw the previews and I did not care for it. I think I even tried to watch the first episode, but again, I can go back and check it. Thanks, Clint Roy. All right. So Lewis Roman, thanks. Yeah, thank you. Oh, this right. He said he made a comment and it deleted. So this Lewis is saying the novel is great. And read it, and this is the Hathaway. Read it, I think would have been great adaptation had Sunrise changed the film script on Tomino. Won't get into it, but I think it's an even better insight to Hathaway than CCA the movie. Very cool. Very cool to know. Steve's Collectibles once again with the nice. Thanks. Okay. Big T Armada. Fools. Anaheim won't be stopped by petty things such as morals or need. Ha! Yeah, that is funny. And even getting into Unicorn, it seems like there's even a deeper connection to Anaheim setting itself up to creating weapons for both sides in order to make money. The military-industrial complex and all that. All right, so Manny Fresh, do you think that they will touch upon Amuro and Char in the movies, or at least some type of information regarding them missing from Char's counterattack? So, yeah, unless there's something in the novels or the mangas or something I'm not aware about, and I know the anime is its own canon, I would love if there was somehow some movie, I guess it would have to be before, I don't know, I think it would not work with Unicorn, but I would like to see, or do we need to know what went on with Amuro and Char after Char's counterattack? I'm just so curious. Manny, that's a good question. All right, Clint, back again. This is from my What is a New Type video. Are you going to talk about the AU New Type-esque concepts like innovators or coordinators with seed modes, for example? Okay, here's seed. So that maybe lend to the fact that seed really is the next one I need to get into. Hey, and it's really cool to see BACD 1990 reply. Innovators are probably easier to understand when it comes to a mess from Cosmic Era, Gundam Seed, where we got a human seed user, Kigali, for example, Mulaflaga as a classical new type, most common coordinators with seed powers, new type clones in Kira Yamato. That is every possible power in this series. And on top of this, there are even carbon humans that appear in Mobile Suit Gundam Seed vs. Astray novels. So, one, that's very interesting. Two, Astray, I've seen the Gundam Astray, and so it's cool to see that that's connected with Seed. Yeah, Gundam Seed might be something I get into. And I even saw, I think on Hulu, they have the remaster. So thanks, Clint. Thanks, BACD or BACT 1990. All right, Kasai Gundam again for the Gundam Evolution reaction video. Man, I was shocked when I saw that game. It looks like I hate to say it looks like Overwatch. I think that's an oversimplification, and people that don't like Overwatch might then take that bad. But this is absolutely going to be the greatest Gundam game of all time. I've been waiting for an FPS Gundam game of this style for years. Jesus Christ, the incredible hype I got from the gameplay footage. Oh my God, I'm literally speechless. Yeah, so check out that video. I go through the trailer, and actually in the Discord again, down in the description there's a link to the Discord. There's a member that actually they post a link actually to a longer gameplay video and talk more about the type of mobile suits we're seeing in it. So it's not just the mobile suits from UC Gundam, but we're also seeing some from the other series. Really, that game looks great. I'd love to add that to my repertoire of Gundam games I'm playing alongside Battle Operation 2 and Extreme Maxi Boost, however you want to call that game. All right, Special K. Wow, this looks pretty good. While it does feel like an Overwatch clone, I'm hoping each of the mobile suits will have distinct gameplay mechanics. Definitely something to keep an eye on. Yeah, and does it look like they have distinct gameplay mechanics for sure. Hopefully that. And what I think is the coolest thing about that, if that by it going by having mobile suits with their extinct gameplay mechanics, and I love the gun tank is one. Yeah, they could be, since it's free to play, it could be one where they're constantly releasing mobile suits, different mobile suits. They have all these different powers. I like the sound of that. Wait, Shar Aznable actually commented on my YouTube. How is that? But it launches next year. Can't wait. And as I say, yeah, that's so long. I wish I could play it today, actually. All right. Kyle Morgan. I have an intense hatred for Overwatch. So seeing my favorite anime franchise being mixed with it gives me very conflicted feelings. And I get it. You know, Overwatch, when it first came out, I played it and I liked it. It got old fast. But the action of having a first-person shooter that's PvP and then having abilities on cooldowns. If you're not familiar with Star Wars Battlefront 2, they pretty much adopted that. And it doesn't seem apparent right away. There's other games like Zombie Army Trilogy is a game or no, not the trilogy, but the Zombie Army 4. Also, and I think we're just seeing that in general with first-person shooters. They're having to add the kind of ability cooldown system in order to add that variety. So I think we can worry less about it being too much like Overwatch and maybe expect it to just be just a well-made first-person shooter. I mean, I think just giving the options for abilities is what is required for any type of PvP FPS in the future. All right. So here's Baki Gearman. The pro player are going to be a real-life new type. That's pretty good, and that's actually the intention, I think, of Bandai Namco or Sunrise or whoever. I think it's been said that they want to make a Gundam game that kind of is utilized in that esports sort of tournament-based thing, and I think this game lends itself to that. I mean, if I'm to play it, I am not going to be the type to play it to be a pro. I'll be playing it for fun, obviously, but I kind of like this call out of a real life new type. That's pretty good, actually. All right, Steve's Collectibles again, enjoying the Q&A. Thank you. Yeah, that was my first Q&A. I had so many comments to go through. I love it, actually. I love these comments, and that's actually the podcast is going to have that. You know, depending on how many comments, I might then make separate videos aside from the podcast to go over it. But I wanted the podcast to be very conversational, free-flowing. Again, join the Discord because I eventually want to be able to bring guests on the podcast. So then there could be multiple people talking about these subjects. Kasai Gundam again. I hope, you know, that's kind of rolling off the tongue now. So hopefully I'm saying it right. How about doing some Gundam anime reviews? And you know what? After that, I took that to heart. I did Unicorn, and I enjoyed that so much. So we're going to be seeing a lot more. I'm going to go through all of Unicorn. And then another one I've been working on is F91 because I love that movie. So that will be another recent one here shortly. Santo Bell, great stuff. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. All right, Clarence Tan. Oh, hey. A channel with a low sub count but quality content. subscribes. Thank you. And yeah, thank you for subscribing. That could enter you for the giveaways that I'll be doing. Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate it. All right, Core Skull Heart S. The other suit is Pale Rider. Thank you. Yeah, so I was trying to figure out what one of the other suits was when we were looking at that Gundam Evolution video. So good to know. That's why these comments are great, you know. Red Access. They actually show 2 non-UC mobile units. Dom Trooper is actually from Cosmic Era. And so Cosmic Era, again, is Seed. Again, more and more, Seed sounds like a good Gundam to get into. Not to be confused with Dom Tropin, which is an UC mobile suit. Now, that's what I was confused about. I'm a big fan of the Dom. I have a couple of the Robot Spirits versions of that. Yeah, so I just assumed UC. All right. Metal Man. Okay, that's a cool name. So 0083 has another track they repurposed from a movie. The track Rising Operation Stardust is lifted from the movie Death Wish 4, of all things. Look up Death Wish 4, the setup. The track starts playing once the shooting starts. And I actually did look that up. And on point. And I think in one of the videos, someone then brought up that it's also in a Chuck Norris movie. I think produced by the same production company. Hold on, if we can hear it. I went back into that bass line, and then the orchestra comes in. It's not exact, but it's close enough, and I love it. And I think someone down here said something about it being in a Chuck Norris movie. Yeah, if you like search, I forget the movie, but he's in a mall and he's fighting. It's like this. It's almost the same. You know, I'm a big fan of music, and you know, it's just cool when something sounds good and it's used in action. Yeah, so thanks. I love comments like that. I really appreciate it. All right, Santo Bell, 6v6 Gundam FPS. Sure, I'll play, probably suck and die a lot, but I'll be grinning ear to ear while that happens. BO2 is a great game. Thoroughly enjoy it. And Breaker 3 is golden, a must-play game. Who knows? This could be next. Yeah, I can't wait. Have I played Breaker 3? I want to say I played a Gundam Breaker game on my PS4. And I think just because of the other Gundam games available, I just played those instead. Because I really like the Maxi Boost. I'm going through the single-player missions right now. I love how you can... I even like in that game how you can create... maybe I should do a video on this. Because you can create scenes right out of any of the shows or the movies and then add the music tracks. Even with the USB, I downloaded a bunch of music, threw it on the PS5. And then I can make it where... I have 2 mobile suits fighting each other, and I can actually have music from the show, like that song on there. So, anyway, yeah, Breaker 3, I might look into that more. All right, Jedi Zax, less yak yak, please. Well, you know, and I did ask for some feedback, so, you know, I do talk a lot. So if, you know, I don't mind feedback like this. If anyone is able to kind of help me maybe figure out the best approach if I'm like kind of talking too much about something or need to calm down. Like right now I'm super excited, so I'm talking really fast because I like Gundam. But yeah, I don't mind the feedback like that. Chili Lagarto says, really hoping to see more mobile suits showing up, but here's a list of what we're getting from UC. Okay, this is cool. The original Gundam, Zaku 2, Pale Rider, Sazabi, Methis, I like that one. GM Sniper 2, Ashamar, Gun Tank, GM, and Turn A Gundam. From Cosmic Era, Dom Trooper from Sea Destiny, thank you. From PD, Gundam Barbados, would have rather had some more AU mobile suits than the Zaku or basic GM, but hopefully more get added in. So, oh, thanks. There's even a source here. So, yeah, if anyone's curious on my Gundam Evolution reaction video, Chili Lagardo has a link where they have more information on that. Thank you. All right. Don't HT, thanks for this chance, bud. Yeah, no problem. Hopefully you win. And if no one wins, I'm going to keep doing giveaways, so there'll always be chances. Kasai Gundam, my greatest wish would be to see all 3 volumes of the novel to receive an animated movie trilogy adaptation in the Mamoru Oshii style. And I looked up Mamoru Oshii because I'm not too familiar. I don't, I'm not really into other anime as much, but I looked that up. Ghost in the Shell, kind of that style, and I agree. There's so much awesome art that comes out of Japan that could totally lend itself. I mean, if you look at Star Wars, there's all these. Sometimes there's these Star Wars media that's made where it's anime based or the manga of Star Wars, and it just adds an element to it, to the experience. So yeah, thanks, Kasai Gundam. If I remember, this is from Paper Plane. If I remember, the movie is only part 1 of the trilogy. Yeah, can't wait for the rest of the trilogy. Red Axis. You should take a look on the Gaia Gear novel. So that's pretty cool. When I was first getting into Gundam, I loved the designs of the mobile suits, and I saw something called Gaia Gear, and that's made by Tomino as well. And glad to hear there's a novel, because from what I've read so far, from the Mobile Suit Gundam novel, I don't read a lot of novels, but this really had me, and it was great. So let's see. Thank you, Red Axis. Robinson Crusoe 200 is real close. Yeah, that was just 3 days ago, and I'm at 199. Who knows? I could be done with this and at 200. Robert Westfall. Gundam is as Gundam does, well, except gag savior. Even RP1 did a better job with old G Gundam. However, briefly it was shown. And yeah, Ready Player One has that scene where there's that Gundam that jumps out of the. There's the guy that jumps out of the ship and turns into a Gundam and helps fight, and that looks cool. It looks really cool. It's all CGI. I just hope when this Gundam movie comes out, they really ground the. I don't want there to be crazy CGI in terms of the camera that is used, and this could be a virtual camera because a lot of movies are just CGI anyway. When they have a virtual camera that moves around in a cartoon fashion, I don't like that. A good example would be if you watch Shin Godzilla. Even though there's a lot of CG, the camera is usually static, and it's from a point of view where a camera would be. I think Shin Godzilla is a good example, and I think that's the Evangelion guy that made Shin Godzilla. Although I haven't watched Evangelion, but that would probably be a good direction to go for a live action Gundam movie to keep it grounded. It's interesting because the director of this new Gundam movie coming out made the King Kong Skull Island, which is in the same universe as that Godzilla 2014 that was made by I can't believe I forgot his name, but he did Rogue One, and that is the guy that needs to make a Gundam. Not saying Jordan Robert he has 3 names. I'm sorry. Not saying that the director attached to the new Gundam movie won't do a good job, but I think let me look that up because I'm gonna feel bad if I'm not even one. Gareth Edwards, of course. Gareth Edwards, the way he did Rogue One, the first Godzilla, and then you see the director of Shin Godzilla, like that's the style that the Gundam movie needs to be in. And excuse me, Kong Skull Island did a great job, so really I'm not too worried. All right, moving on. Robert Westfall again. By the way, anyone do their own fan fiction novel or Gundam besides moi? So yourself. Good question. You know what? I think Gundam fan fiction would be amazing. I haven't really looked up too much of it. I have Gundam fan fiction up here that I would like to talk about. So in the Discord, I actually made a channel called Fan Fiction. I would love anyone that has any idea if it's one sentence or if it's like a 50-page Word doc. I would love people to share their Gundam fan fiction. I would love to share it on this channel because I think there's so much room for that. There's so many stories that could be told. I would love to talk about that. All right, so we've got John DeSouza. It was a good movie if you understand the politics, and that is true. The politics that are used there's a lot of depth to it, and I think that kind of helps anyone appreciate the movie more if they can see where it's coming from. All right, so BACD 1990 yet again. Let's see. This is that. What is a new type? Okay, to keep it simple, new types are evolved human beings that started to appear in human massive colonization of space. Now, for their sources of power, there are some theories that it came from the higher dimensions where souls of the dead go for reincarnation. Taken some lore from most Gundam narrative movie. Ooh, then I need to watch that again. This would even explain Camille Badan powers at the end of Gundam Zeta and why the Unicorn Gundam Phoenix could move. Good point. To summarize, I could write even more about this subject. However, the best way to understand the subject better is to watch Gundam 1979, Gundam Zeta ZZ, and Gundam Char's Counterattack for the beginning. Later, I recommend hopping on Gundam Unicorn, Gundam Origin, Gundam Narrative Movie, and even Gundam Hathaway for more lore about this topic. And you're right, all those really get into the new type. But BACD 1990 or back to 1990, if you want to go to the Discord and maybe expand on that, I would love to talk more about it. I think there is some more depth into the new type lore that can be discussed, for sure. All right, Robert Westphal. So, about my G novel. Care to share your opinions on it here? Gundam Explained? Yeah. You know what? Maybe I didn't see this. Gundam saying great. Also, Triforce Films wants opinions on which Gundam theme he should try first. I basically told him to try an English a cappella of Alexandra's from Hathaway, an a cappella cover of Meteor from Seed, or any other he felt like. What would you suggest to have him do an a cappella cover on from Gundam? I'm going to have to think about that. That's a good one. Yeah, let me look that up. Thanks, Robert. I appreciate your comment. Let's see. This other one from Betito117. I felt hard for this movie during the Children of Men-esque battle scene. Yeah, and then I commented about that because I don't remember watching Children of Men, but I'll have to check that out again. It seems like there might be some cool experience there that's, similar to what's found in Gundam. All right, so this was on my Alex video. What was your first series that exposed you to Gundam? For me personally, was the G Gundam back in '93. But before that, my brothers loved Z Gundam, Double Zeta Gundam, but I was too young to remember these back in the few months and years I lived in Japan growing up. Man, very cool to live in Japan growing up. Jay Soto also continued with, I'm rewatching Zeta now, but I really wanted to get into the UC. So I started with the Z Gundam. Then I got curious about OG stories, so I watched the trilogy movie. Then I continued to Double Zeta, Char's Counterattack, the OVA's Unicorn, and the Origin OVA. One thing I will say is, I think it is worth watching the original series. Okay, not just the. Yeah, give me a second. Not just the trilogy movie, but the original series. There's more. In the trilogy movies, like better quality, but in the original series, it actually touches on a lot of things and expands on a lot of things that is kind of left out in the trilogy. Like so there was that resupply ship that comes in where there was that Matilda captain. I forget that. Amuro falls for, and there's more story with her actually in it that the movie trilogy kind of left out. All right. Okay, and then this is the last one. It was in Japanese. I translated it, and I think they're asking, why did I put season 1, episode 1? And the reason I did that is just kind of a Western thing where even if there's not a second season, there will be a lot of shows in America or maybe in Europe where it's season 1, season 2, and it's even season 1, even if there isn't a season 2. If it's multiple episodes, they will consider something as season 1. So, well, you know what? That's it. Oh, man, it was over an hour. So, yeah, thanks for watching. Again, subscribe if you like what you see. Be sure to comment because I like to read the comments, every Friday for the podcast. Join the Discord. If you want to talk more Gundam there, and then I will probably start taking a lot of the Discord comments to add to this section. And depending on how many comments there are, I might have to maybe limit it to I don't know, maybe just from what's out of Discord. But also keep in mind the giveaways. I will be doing this often. As soon as I reach a goal, like 200 subscribers, for instance, and I do that giveaway, I'm going to want to then do another giveaway. So, anyway, thanks for watching, and until next time.